Server right here, this Dell PowerEdge 860 has been my router for the last few years. It's running fine, but kind of want to nudge it around. It's a bit slow for the internet, and I do seem to be limited by the router here, and its CPU is pegged way too hard, and it's kind of noisy and just uses power, so I can save power if I shut it down. You can see how incredibly dusty this front panel is. So yeah, right now it's running Untangle. I'm going to still be running Untangle in the future. I'm going to be running it on my main virtualization host, and since that guy really doesn't go down, that shouldn't be an issue there. I think I have everything physically connected. The virtualization server already has a connection. I'm going to have to plug them into the modem as well on the network card, so that's going to be pretty easy. And then I'm just going to have to do it. This guy easily with Untangle lets you make backup, so I just do, first thing I have to do is make a VM on the other guy, not this guy is going to be turned off. On the other guy, make a virtual machine, chuck Untangle on it, and then I'm just going to have to test it and hope that it works fine. And restore the backups and hope everything works fine. Now, it should work fine, but I don't know yet. And the backup should restore, and it should be 100% seamless, but we're still going to be cautious and do this on the time when no one else is using a NAT. And it should also speed up the thing, because this guy is a dual-core Pentium from like 10 years ago, and its load average should max out at about 200 normal load. It's at like 17 when I'm hitting it, so it is kind of well to do for an upgrade. So now I'm going to be upgrading into a server. So this here is the over page for the server that's going to be running the new router and the VM. Over, it's basically a hypervisor, kind of like ESXi or Zen server. They all essentially do the same thing. And if you look on the system, we can see networks-wise, I have two networks. So one's connected to they're basically connected to both sides of where the router will be. So first thing we have to do is make a new virtual machine. So we're going to call this Untangle Router. The reason I'm using Untangle, is because I'm already using it on, and I couldn't get pfSense working on that hardware, which kind of was my first preference, but yeah, they both work fine. I have to get a UUID now, so that's why I'm Googling for an online generator. Yes, you can get a generator. It comes built into Linux, and I think you can get one on Windows, but I don't have one, so we're going to call this router as the description, and what other things. So we got to create an image. This is essentially the drive that it gets installed on. So 20 gigs should be more than enough for a router. It takes very little space. It's using very little. I'll be nice and give it 40. It's using very little space, but it might use it for caching or some other things. 40 should be fine. Right now we're gonna have to give it 2, so we're gonna give its first network card to the one that connects to the modem, and the next network card will connect to that. And the order does matter, because this order is what order should be in, like EN1, EN2 that you see in Linux system. RAM, I don't know how much RAM exactly it needs. We're gonna give it 4 gigs. So 4096 megabytes. Virtual CPUs. It does seem to be using quite a bit of CPU. We're going to give it 12, of course. It doesn't really matter to give it a ton extra. The server is normally not under much CPU load, except it happens to be right now because I'm encoding some videos on it. Host, one of them, high availability. Yes, this will make it so it will automatically run if something happens to the server, which you want for the router. Resource allocation. CPU shares, so this is for prioritizing who gets it. We're going to give it high priority for CPU shares. You can pin CPU cores to certain ones, but I think you do have to pin it to a certain one, a certain system. Physical memory guaranteed, we're going to set that to 512 because it has memory ballooning. You can give it less RAM and it'll use how much it needs on the hardware, which makes it so those 4 gigs aren't always used when I need it. Everything else is fine. We're running off the blank template here, so it's going to be an empty OS. Boot options, boots off the hard drive, custom properties, nothing else. So here. Here's a UUID generator, and we got a UUID, so we're going to put that under general now, and we're going to hit OK. And it's going to take a second or two, and now if we look around, we should have, it's all in alphabetical order here. Where's U? What does it go? Right next to Unified Control Untangle Router here. And then we go run once. Run once is just for installs, so that's what I'm doing now. And it'll use it. You can turn it, have it start once using custom parameters that you normally want to use. So it will give us boot options. We're going to say attach a CD drive. We're going to attach the Untangle ISO drive. You can also do things like PXE boot, custom properties, change the console, run it on a specific host this time, change CPU type, all those other little things, but you don't really need to touch them. And now we can see it's starting up. So if we want to refresh it, it'll probably show that it's currently running right now. And once it's shown as it's actually running, it takes a few seconds normally. There you go, now it's running. Now we can access the console. And this downloads a little file with like a generated password and a spice port that with Firefox on my system automatically get executed and open a console program that shows me the console. Hopefully, alright. That's gonna happen. Okay, here it is. So here's a graphical installer. It can be a lot more annoying than you normally think. I've had a lot of weird things happen because of the time zone. And it says, yay, it has good specs. I gave it a ton of stuff. Do you want to, it will delete it all on disk. The system only has one drive, so there's nothing it can really do wrong. And it will automatically go. This is pretty effortless. You don't really have too many options. It's a router, not a full-on server. It's telling me what changes it'll make to the disks now. Say yes. And it does its thing. It looks like it's partitioning as ext4 with a bit of swap, which is a normal setup. All of these VMs are running on an NBR boot system, so no EFI. But a lot of EFI boots and other stuff do benefit a lot less in a virtual machine than they would in normal life because reboot time doesn't really matter as much. Things like secure boot isn't a problem because no one has physical access to the drives. And we see the kernel boot options using kernel 3.2, which feels a bit old. I'm curious, so if we go to kernel.org, you can see, is 3.2 actually still supported? Yeah, it is. Wow, they're still pumping out updates. 3.2, I think, if I'm right, came out on Debian 7. So this is getting a bit old in the tooth, but there's been updates. This is an old ISO image, so I'm gonna get quite a few updates now. So we're now in Untangle, so we can set it up. So English, next. So now we get to set up all the little settings in here. So we're going to set up my password, make a temp pass. We're going to type password off camera. So it's giving me some weird thing for network cards. So we're going to just continue and try to sort through that later when we have a better interface and not just doing the initial setup system. So we're telling it to set up a router. Let's hope this doesn't screw any part of the network up. Actually, we don't have the full screen view, so we're going to make our VM window a bit bigger now. I probably screwed something up on my network so it doesn't work right. That's weird how it does the scrolly thing. Shouldn't be doing it. I don't know why. And we could see Untangle, you have a few recovery utilities and just some basic stuff in the browser. So network settings are screwed up, so it's going to complain. So we're going to have to change our network settings here. So the thing is, these interfaces are wrong, so the internal should be 2 and external should be 1. So we're going to go set that up so that is WAN interface is off. It's going to say, there we go. Actually cancel. I think there's an easy way, yes. I think there's an easy way to switch them. I want to say that will do it if we just say remap like this. And, oh, you have to do this horrible thing. And then we're going to hit apply, and that should switch both of them because external is Ethernet 0 and internal is Ethernet 1. And this is going to cause all types of problems because now I have 2 routers on my network with the same IPs. So now, big question is if I go 192.168.1.1, it's going to say connecting and be waiting. And if I just do a test by going to Google, it's not going to work. So that means I have to work on my network. This guy, it is loading an Untangle interface, which is great. It's probably the wrong one though. Google does still work, so I do have internet in our house, which is great. So I could do a ping test first of all. So if I ping like google.com, yeah, okay, I can find it. Clear output. Okay. So now I just have to make sure it works. So the other few things I need to do is this guy hasn't been updated in forever. So I think those close this. Upgrade. Let me click that. Yeah, there's the one behind here in this browser is the old one. I don't want to register my account right now. I'll do that later. Config. I want to upgrade. You can see here, this is a new one. They have a much better dashboard and stuff. Here, so here we go. Checking for upgrades. It will automatically update. I've never had an issue with it. We're gonna say upgrade now. And you can see there's a ton of stuff it has to download. And it's gonna do that right now. It'll take a while. So what it's going to let me do is I can download a backup file. I think it's proprietary, probably XML file or something like that, which just tells you every single setting and thing you have. So then what I do is I go into this guy and just upload it. So what I'm going to have to do pretty soon is I'm just going to unplug this guy from the network. It's going to be a number change, but I can do that right now. Unplug this guy from the network, and then that will be my new router. And then on that new router, I can continue on here and essentially just upload that file to it, and it should work perfectly. I did kind of the dangerous and scary part right now. This guy here, which is roaring away, is completely unplugged, and I still have network access on this new guy. And now, yeah, there's a bit of configuring and stuff, but if I open a new tab and go to Reddit, I guess you'll find out what my Reddit name is. So I won't show it to you, but trust me, it loads. Wireless is slow though. So the only other thing we'll have to do right now is, wrong one, is not upgrade. I don't want to upgrade this thing. I already did it. It's running the newest version. It is system. Yeah, it's under the system tab. As you can tell, it's late. It's not that late though. Restore all settings, browse for files, go under my downloads. I don't know what's here. Yep, and here's the backup file I just made, 7.5 megs. And I click restore from file. And I'm being optimistic this all works here. I've never tried running it in a VM. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Great. Okay, because I get this not supported thing. And it shows me at the beginning page again. So I either have to reconfigure everything, which really is not much. I can probably do it in 15 minutes. Or I just have to do it, because config, if I go to config system, I hate these loading bars, but I know it needs it. Backup. There's no version control or anything here. Yeah, I'd probably be running a newer version, because I know I updated this today. I have no idea. So I have no idea what to do. So, like, the only thing I can think of right now is to manually do it, which is annoying. So it looks like I'm going and installing all the apps that I want. So that will be fun. So I guess I'll be configuring it. I think I changed a few DNS settings. Upgrades are available. Oh, there is upgrades available. Why am I at the wiki page? Why does it give me the wiki page about upgrades? Huh? This is inspiring confidence in me. Oh, I'm getting some weird bogus error now. EL is null. If you're a programmer and program this thing, it probably makes perfect sense to you. But I'm not. I didn't write this upgrade button. So, it's searching for upgrades. And there's probably a new version of which I can actually use the backup now. So, as I showed on this, I just did it with 700 packages. So now I get to do it again with another 600 packages. But this time here, I can go to this guy, SSH into my main server, and we can see this interface here is the WAN interface, and you can see how much data it's actually touching. So that means this server down on the ground, which I can't get the camera to easily, I'm on a ladder, has access to everything. and its DNS isn't set up right, so I can't access it, because this guy... Oh boy. So this is how I managed all the servers here. This is my overt thing, as you've seen before. You can see it's using actually about 3% CPU now. I can't load it at all unless I have access to a router of DNS. Due to how DNS works, I have to do a manual input of DNS on the router to use it. Otherwise, there's some security thing that I have to have DNS to use it. Thanks for giving me your wiki page. Luckily, my internet's fast and it does it quickly, and the storage should be faster. Now time to decommission this guy. It says it's still applying upgrades. I'm getting the problem loading page, so I'm assuming it's dorking with some low-level system inside it. Otherwise, this guy's about to get shut down and logged. Yeah, I know I'm being a bit pushy about upgrades and stuff, though. So, fun little notes about this guy. So he's sitting on his own little shelf right now. These things used to be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick of foam to keep the noise down, so this wall doesn't vibrate as much here. Someone, like, sleeps and spends time next to this wall. So, these have gotten squished down. This guy's probably been here 2 years now. I've never had an issue with him other than this speed issue I have now. So, here he is. Router here is still upgrading. Says it's updating grub now. But let's take a look at this guy. He's been running for about 2 years straight in a dusty garage with basically nothing. In terms of cleaning or dust removal or anything like that. There it comes. Actually not as bad as I was fearing. You can see the cables are pretty nasty in here. I remember getting this guy. Yeah, so if I take my finger and I just run him on this heatsink, you can see that looks pretty nasty. What other hardware I got? 4 gigs of RAM in here. This guy has a, I think that's a 250 watt power supply in here. What is this drive? I don't even know what drive this guy has right now. Oh, this whole tray comes out. Is a WD-RE drive, so it actually is a enterprise drive in here. That's nice. I put a network card in here. I wasn't too happy about the integrated network cards. Yeah. Not a bad bit of kit for what it is, though, at all. And fine, it's just slow. I remember when I first got it, it came with Server 2003 on it. I wiped that pretty darn quick. And it came from a business. I bought it at a used surplus place for like 20 bucks. Came from a business, still had a ton of files and junk on it. So I was like, okay, guys. Probably should have deleted that, but yes, you did it. Hey, it's actually restoring from fire because it's running a new version now. So it should be able to... Oh, here comes the server starting. Please wait. Oh, come on. Give me access to it. So I finally got it working correctly. It's the next morning, blah, blah, blah. It's been a lot of work. So essentially the story behind it is now this guy's finally working again. I had to fire him up again just to get internet working for the night. I got it working because here's what my great idea was. I have an ancient ISO image that I made probably 2 years ago when this guy was first deployed. I made that ISO image, and then I just haven't touched it. I just said, oh, I'm just gonna update all my problems away. And it's like, don't do that. Don't try to update all your problems away. It doesn't work well. Get the new image from the website, because it's better. And it works perfectly right now. So I'm going to do a bit of testing now to see if my speeds have gotten improved at all. Here's the fans. I'm going to try to take them out. This cable's a pain. I guess they aren't coming out correctly right now. Here, nope. Okay, here it comes. Is it? Okay, here, you can see how much dust there is here. I don't remember if I showed you this at all. I don't think I did. Yeah, generic server. I really don't have anything to do with it right now, because it's a slow CPU in here. It's relatively power efficient, though. I think it only uses 50-some watts, but it's not very fast, which is its kind of big downfall. I'm gonna pull that dual gig server network card from Intel out of it. And then pretty much everything is just store it somewhere and wait for it to either become useful or get tossed into an e-waste bin one day. Yeah, these are some beefy fans too if you look at them. So next thing I have to do is a little bit of speed testing. I'm curious how much faster all my speeds have gotten. So it's been running for a good amount of time. Speed-wise, it's about the same as the old one. It's hard to compare speed in this situation. CPU loads stayed relatively low because faster cores and lots of them, or I guess just as a percentage of it. Bandwidth is my normal usage, so normally pretty low unless I'm actually using it, which you can see these spikes, probably me loading a video or something. I don't know exactly what I was doing at the time. All the same apps are running. The only issue I had was actually due on the VM host running into errors on the CPU, which I need to look at, and that'll be another video later on. And I need to get the hardware back able to run again, just so that in case it's just a backup system. So I'll be working on that in the meantime, and then I'll have to be looking at the hardware errors on that system, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. So thanks for watching this video, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future.